On a freezing night, a single dad and his loyal German shepherd stumbled upon a shocking scene. A female police officer, bloodied and dying beside her wrecked patrol car. What they did next defied all odds, stunned the entire police force, and turned an ordinary man into an unexpected hero. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The wind howled through the empty streets. As Daniel tightened his scarf, one hand gripping the leash of his loyal German shepherd, Rex. Snow crunched beneath their boots and paws, each breath turning into mist in the freezing air. Night walks were Daniel's routine, a quiet escape from the noise of life as a single father. But this night felt different. Somewhere in the distance, faintly beneath the storm's roar, came a sound, a metallic groan followed by a weak cry. Rex's ears shot up, body tense. Daniel's heart quickened. Something, or someone, was out there in the snow, waiting to be found. Rex pulled hard on the leash, nose low to the ground, guiding Daniel through the whipping snow. The faint glow of headlights appeared ahead, half buried in a drift. As they drew closer, Daniel's stomach dropped. A police cruiser lay tilted against a tree, windshield spiderwebbed with cracks, its siren lights dead. "Hello," Daniel called out, his voice breaking against the storm. At first, there was only silence. Then, a faint groan. He yanked the door open and froze. Inside slumped a female officer, her face bloodied, her breath shallow. Her uniform was torn, her hands trembling weakly. Rex growled low, scanning the tree line, ears pricked as though danger still lingered nearby. Daniel's pulse pounded. This wasn't just an accident. Something violent had happened here. The woman's lips moved, whispering for help. Daniel leaned closer, his heart racing. Whatever had done this was still out there. Daniel crouched beside the shattered doorframe, snow stinging his cheeks as he leaned closer. The officer's eyes fluttered open, clouded with pain. Her lips trembled as she forced out a whisper. "Please, don't let me die here." Her voice cracked, raw with desperation. Daniel's chest tightened. He wasn't trained for this. He was just a single dad trying to make it through each day. But now, a life literally hung in his hands. Rex whined softly, pressing closer to the officer, his watchful gaze sweeping the darkness beyond the car. Daniel felt his fear collide with a rising resolve. He couldn't abandon her, not when she'd risked her life for others. He slipped off his jacket, pressing it against her wound, his hands trembling. "Stay with me," he urged, voice steady despite the panic in his heart. "You're not alone. I won't leave you." Snow swirled around them, each gust threatening to snuff out the fragile life before him. Daniel pressed his jacket firmly against the officer's side, feeling the warmth of her blood seep through. "Stay with me," he whispered, though his own breath shook. Rex stood guard, hackles raised, his eyes never leaving the shadowy tree line. Every snap of a branch, every whisper of wind had him on edge. It was as if he sensed the danger that lingered just beyond sight. The officer's eyelids drooped, her body growing heavier. Daniel shook her shoulder gently, refusing to let her slip away. "You've got people who need you. Don't give up now." His fingers were numb, his heart hammering, but he wouldn't stop. In that moment, Daniel wasn't just a single dad. He was her lifeline, fighting to keep a stranger alive against the cold and the darkness. Rex suddenly broke his stillness, nose pressing hard against the snow. With a sharp bark, he tugged at the leash, pulling Daniel's attention toward the edge of the woods. Daniel squinted through the storm, and his breath caught. There, stamped fresh into the powder, were footprints, deep, hurried, and recent. His stomach twisted. Whoever had left the officer bleeding hadn't vanished long ago. They were close. Rex growled low, hackles bristling as he paced along the tracks, glancing back at Daniel as if urging him to act. Fear clamped down on Daniel's chest. He had his daughter at home, a life to protect. But looking at the officer slumped in the car, pale and fading, he knew walking away wasn't an option. "Not tonight," he muttered, pulling Rex close. He tightened his grip on the jacket against her wound. Whoever had done this might return, and they had to be ready. Daniel fumbled for his phone with numb fingers, praying for a signal. The screen flickered, a single bar appearing and disappearing as the storm raged overhead. His heart hammered as he dialed 911, pressing the phone to his ear. Static filled the line, then a faint voice. "Emergency services, what's your location?" He shouted into the wind, giving frantic directions. "Officer down. Patrol car wrecked off Miller's Ridge. She's bleeding badly. I can't move her." His words cracked, urgency spilling through every syllable. The dispatcher's tone sharpened. "Stay with her. Backup is on the way. Do not leave her side." "I wasn't planning on it," Daniel muttered, glancing at Rex. The dog's growls deepened, ears fixed on the tree-ling. Daniel's grip tightened on the phone as he whispered to the officer, "Hold on. They're coming." But in his gut, he knew the danger wasn't waiting. It was moving closer. Rex's ears shot forward, his body stiffening like a drawn bow. A low growl rumbled from his chest as he fixed his gaze on the dark woods beyond the wreck. Daniel followed his stare, the fine hairs on the back of his neck rising. Something, or someone, was out there. Branches snapped. Snow crunched. The sound was faint, but unmistakable. Daniel's pulse quickened. He pressed closer to the injured officer, whispering, "You're safe. I won't let anything happen." His free hand gripped Rex's collar, though the dog strained to break free, every muscle quivering with instinct. A shadow moved between the trees. Rex barked fiercely, lunging forward, his voice slicing through the storm like thunder. Whoever was there froze, then retreated into the night, the crunch of hurried footsteps fading into silence. Daniel exhaled shakily, clutching the officer tighter. Rex returned to his side, standing tall, chest heaving, still watching the woods. In that terrifying moment, Daniel realized his dog wasn't just a companion. He was a protector, an unshakable wall between danger and the dying woman. And until backup arrived, it was the three of them against whatever lurked in the dark. Red and blue lights finally pierced the storm, flickering against the snow like beacons of hope. Daniel sagged with relief as sirens cut through the night, engines roaring up the ridge. Rex barked sharply, tail rigid, signaling the rescuers to their location. Police cruisers skidded to a halt, and officers poured out, weapons drawn, scanning the woods. "Over here," Daniel shouted, waving frantically. Medics rushed forward with stretchers and equipment, their boots sinking deep into the drifts. Daniel refused to move until the medics reached them. His arm stayed around the wounded officer, his jacket pressed against her side, his warmth shielding her from the cold. "She's still breathing," he said hoarsely, "but she's fading fast." The medics worked swiftly, wrapping her wounds, securing her to a stretcher. Rex circled protectively, barking at anyone who moved too close too quickly, until Daniel soothed him with a firm hand. As they loaded her into the ambulance, one officer gripped Daniel's shoulder. "You just saved her life." Daniel shook his head, glancing at Rex. "No, we did." The ambulance doors slammed shut, sirens rising again, carrying the officer away. And in the silence that followed, Daniel finally let himself breathe. At the hospital, Daniel was greeted by uniformed men and women who lined the corridor. One after another, they thanked him, their voices thick with emotion. "You didn't just save one of us," a sergeant said quietly. "You saved a sister." Rex drew just as much admiration. Officers knelt to scratch his ears, calling him the real hero. The dog basked in the attention, tail wagging proudly, as though he knew the weight of what he had done. For the first time, Daniel realized they weren't just grateful. They were family now.